You know how when you get a certain taste or smell, you'll be reminded of something or someone from your past? Personally, I get jump scared on the street because random girls wear the same scented leave-in conditioner as an ex-girlfriend, and anything maple flavored reminds me of Saturday mornings with my dad. I get that in reverse with this game. Whenever I find myself looking back at different times of my life, sometimes immaturely wishing I could go back, for whatever reason, I think of Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy was the first real game I ever played, and it means a whole lot to me. I think I was 7 the first time I played it, maybe a little younger, and I wish I could tell you exactly how it felt, but the truth is I'm so far away from that first time that the exact moment has long since faded. I can't say your typical and somewhat corny, I immediately knew I was playing something special because I was fucking 7. I didn't really have a concept of high and low quality, I just kind of knew what would tingle my brain despite being over half a decade too young for Cocomelon to exist. Similar to how you don't really judge games like Tag based on their quality, you just kind of do it because you know you enjoy it without really thinking about why or ranking every experience. That's how I felt about Mario Galaxy. So I want to go back and do a sort of controlled walk down memory lane and offer some tidbits about nostalgia as someone who thinks about it way too much and is currently trying to stop because his grandmother told him it's not attractive to the huzz. Yes, that is real in different words. This is another video where I really have to toe that line of asking myself how much of me do I want to put onto the internet. Anyways, my address is 506. I want to start with the title screen. This isn't even one that I realized until I booted up the game for the first time in a while. I was troubleshooting other issues I was having and accidentally let the theme play out longer than normal. I'm very used to the epic roaring trumpets that the theme starts with, but I didn't remember how somber it gets after that, as the camera just sort of aimlessly wanders through space. I look really awkward sitting like that. This is not comfortable, let me be clear. Ooh, sitting like this for the rest of the video, probably, maybe, until my hips explode. My mobility is non-existent. I've heard this theme and seen this screen 1,000 times over the years, and yet somehow I'd never sat back and really listened to the music or paid attention to what's going on in the background. It feels kind of like when you grow past a time in your life and look back and realize you found a strange fondness for the mundane, the things that you barely noticed at the time, yet now you guard with all your might. Anyways, into the actual game. Mario Galaxy is fun because it renders in parts of levels that aren't necessarily used in the mission that you're doing. So sometimes you can work your way into these places that are just kind of empty. Places that will matter a lot in the future, but for now are just kind of there. I really like this upper area of the Honeyhive galaxy, which gets all these bells and whistles later, but for now is just sort of sitting there charged with potential energy. And sometimes the potential energy is like that roller coaster that does 6 loops and then kills you, but it's the thought that counts. I spent a lot of time in Honeyhive as a kid, as I presume most of my viewers who discovered this game in their single to low double digits also did. There's something a little bit empowering about having a few select nostalgic things that you can reliably revisit. Although personally, I have given myself the title of Keeper of All Memories, because I don't trust anyone else to do it. I've had to set guardrails for myself about that. There's only so much forbidden pre that you can take before you bust your knuckles on a countertop. Most channels, I think, will say one of two things. Either don't think about the past, or think only about the past and let the spite fuel you. Welcome to the hyperbolic time chamber. It's 31 years of October 2023. Fuck you. That depends whether you're on self-love or Diamond Jim Unk internet.
It doesn't have to destroy you, my darling.
You can't have all.
I say let us consult the wisdom of my favorite meningitis victim. If you never look back, you get no progress pictures. I think the mental snapshot of, wow, the last time I did this, I was at this point in my life, is important. But if you look back too much, you get no now pictures. That's how you get to played college ball, could have gone pro status. You either never change, or you never forgive yourself, because you can't tell how much you have. Anyways, after I molest the queen bee, it's time to switch locations. Even though it's not an actual level, I've always liked the garden dome of the Comet Observatory. This room locks the camera, so you're gonna have to forgive me, but you're only gonna get this one shot. and Mario's probably gonna be like sleeping next to me. It's got a very Studio Ghibli feel to it, which I wouldn't have known at the time because my parents didn't let me watch Ghibli because they thought the voices in Ponyo were annoying. But now it very much reminds me of the garden from Howl's Moving Castle. There's no music in here, it's just bird sounds. Did you know that Sandhill Crane vocalizations were among the many bird sounds used to make the voice of Rodan in Godzilla? A friend of mine told me that. He wrote a poem about it. I mean, kind of about it. More about other stuff. I hope he's doing well. I say that like I don't talk to him. We send each other the Wordle like every day. I've never been sure if the scenery behind me is supposed to be real or a projection. Like if this is actually here or some inside the dome magic. That it's breathtakingly beautiful. As long as you stay within the confines of this circle.
Oh, sit back down. The hardest part of this entire recording process because my fucking joints don't want to work. Gandalf!
I remember as a kid I would spend way longer than is reasonable running into the walls to try and escape into the background. I think we all have moments looking back and saying, oh, I should have done this instead. When you get nostalgic, when you look into the past, there's the you that you imagine and the you that was actually there. And the you imagine, perfect and happy, can only exist by virtue of the real you who just ate all of the shit that was actually there. You might wish you'd appreciated it more then, but what you're not appreciating now is all of the horse piss that you had to swim through every other day for some reason. And I know I'm not saying anything too novel, but a reminder can always be helpful. You will not find the promised land flowing with milk and honey in the annals of your brain. You should treat rose-tinted glasses like cigarettes. Only when drunk. Because the grass can never be greener on the other side if it was always greener yesterday. The last location I want to visit is, I think, the single most impactful place in the entire game. It's the game's thesis statement. The gateway to the galaxy. Now, I already talked about this place in a previous video, but I think that writing is bad and terrible, and I would like to try and actually do it justice. I spent a lot of time on this little tutorial planet. I would go back and just replay this intro mission over and over and over again. There's always been something about it that just feels like home. I know these pipes, I know these craters, I know this grass. Why is it that a game that prides itself on its scale and sweeping scores starts by giving you a break? You would be forgiven for forgetting the stakes that the game just set for you because it seems like just for a moment the game wants you to. It's the silence before the starting gun goes off. I was a swimmer for quite a while. There's a weird kind of nostalgia that's bred from shared suffering. Not like traumatic suffering, but the kind of suffering that comes from willfully doing something hard for a prolonged period of time. When I first really got going on this channel, I made a video every week for a year while being summa cum laude, while swimming and playing water polo. 11 p.m. nights and 4 a.m. mornings, sub-zero temperatures, driving a car with 300,000 miles that was only 3 years younger than I was. Hair that was too long, stuck in strange positions, either because it was frozen or chlorine crusted in place. Staring at 10 lines of a script that I've been trying to write for a week that I somehow have to record and edit by tomorrow. It was rough and stressful. But I got to see my friends every day. And it's the most like a YouTuber I ever felt. Do you see why my grandmother tells me I'm scaring the hose? Mario Galaxy does this to me. And I couldn't exactly tell you why. Maybe it's because my controller muscle memory that most of us take for granted was built on this planet. Maybe it's because this game is the first domino in an incredibly long string that has led to my life as it is. Or maybe it's because I intentionally keep it around and own it on every console that can play it as an on-demand progress picture. There's an old video by Japanese tennis player Shuzo Matsuoka that I watch when I suck myself down this rabbit hole. I'm just gonna read this quote off the teleprompter because I'm gonna be here for 1,000 years if I try to, you know, keep eye contact while memorizing it. You can't think about the past. It'll just turn to anger. You also can't think about the future. It just turns to worry. in that case, hold on for dear life. Stake your entire life here and now. If you stake your life now, everyone, you will be alive. Thank you guys for 50,000 subs. That's fucking unreal. And if you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy this Dark Souls video.
Hey, I get to stand up. Hey, oh!